dramatic introduction brings us the Ferrari Challenge North America Trofeo Pirelli Race 2, which will unfold here at Homestead-Miami. Dave Richardson here, and alongside Greg Creamer. Great to be here.
It is great to be here. Had the opportunity and the good fortune to announce the first couple of races that ever unfolded here back when the oval was actually a mile-and-a-half version of the Indianapolis 500 before they changed it up. And there was some great racing that unfolded from the Indy cars on that oval, and there's always been interest in this infield track. Lots of racing has unfolded over the years, and for a couple of years, in 2000 and 2002, the chief instructor of the Ferrari Challenge North America, a man named Didier Taze, won two big races here, road races, sports car endurance races, and a Ferrari 333 SP, Didier Taze. So a lot of Ferrari connection to this venue as well. And it is a very special one. This time of year, yes, indeed, it can be mighty warm, and it is that today. Temperatures of about 92 degrees right now. Heat index, or real feel, if you will, up approaching 104 degrees. So the drivers that will be coming out here for this Trofeo Pirelli 30-minute contest will find it a grueling 30 minutes to be sure. And they are out and on track right now for their installation laps, if you will, their recon laps, and getting ready to get this race underway. Again, this is the final race in North America of the Ferrari Challenge North America Championship, but two races remain after this one in the championship chase at the Finale Mondiale, Mugello, Italy, in the heart of Tuscany. So two more races yet to unfold. Three races left in the championship, including today's, in the two categories that will be racing today, Trofeo Pirelli and Trofeo Pirelli Am. And it's been an interesting weekend thus far, with various interesting developments, as well as some great performances in these two categories here. And looking forward to this one getting underway. And keep in mind, right after this race, very short turnaround, just a couple of days, and then the cars that are going to Mugello, Italy, have to be ready and loaded onto the ships and shipping containers for transportation over there. So there's a lot on the calendar, even though there's a little bit of time between this race and Mugello.
Yeah, and lots of consideration as well, isn't there, in terms of you've got to consider conserving the car to a degree, Greg, and you're not going to take any unnecessary risks. Well, down there in the heat, and on that heated tarmac is Shay Adam for us.
Yeah, but this is what I'm used to, guys. I'm a Florida girl. Alrighty, so we have half the grid here so far. So we're going to start up on the ones lining up on the outside of row one, outside pole sitter, race winner from yesterday, Benjamin Ethus. And now things get interesting because it's 5 wins apiece for Ethus and McNeil, and the championship battle continues. Can Benjamin make it 2 race wins in a row? Well, we'll have to wait and find out in about 33 minutes' time. So, who's behind him? Dave Musial, the pole sitter for Trofeo Pirelli Am, race winner yesterday as well as a pole sitter yesterday. So can Dave make it 2 in a row? He has dragged himself square back into this TP Am Championship battle, along with the man starting behind him, Ziad Gandauer in car number 24. Now, Ziad has not run every single race this year, but the ones he has, he's been impressive. So Z-Dog, the man to watch today in terms of trying to cement a championship. But the other person he's going to be battling against is the silver Ferrari. That is Neil Gahani, Ferrari Concourse Club of Miami on the side of his car. That's because that just located up in Opelika. About an hour's drive or a 15-minute helicopter ride if you were so equipped. From here, he very much is looking for a win. Alongside him is Mr. McGrew, who's always fun to watch, John, looking for a podium finish today in car number 23, gives us the thumbs up. He is ready to go. Now, we've started to get more of the cars coming in line on the opposite side of the grid, including Mr. Cooper McNeil, whose birthday was yesterday. Had some trouble in the race yesterday, did not get the finish he was looking for, did not get the win, came back today, put the car on pole by a large margin. It was about 0.8 of a second, so he will be starting on the pole position. But before we get there, 2 Canadians. We have Mark Muzo in car number 13. Keep an eye on him. Very fun guy. Finished 2nd yesterday in the race. Looking for a little bit better. And Martin Burrows, the only other man to win a race this season overall besides Cooper and Benjamin. Can he sneak out another one today? Well, we're going to have to wait and find out.
And it's going to be a fun one to watch unfold, obviously. There's some missions out there for some of the guys. Itez, he did, remember, do the double at Indy. He was able to win both those races. And then with what happened with Cooper yesterday, he's in a position in the points that I'm not sure he thought he'd be in, only 20 points out, and including today's race. There is 65 points remaining in this championship. So suddenly he's in the window, but he can't let Cooper start to stretch things out again.
A story that was told, but not told there by Shea, is the fact that the win ratio for Cooper and for Benjamin Itez is the same.
Yes.
Where's the points difference come? It's come from those fastest laps and from quali points for pole position. And you and I have both said, and we said right at the beginning of the season, those single points can be advantageous come the end of the year. And that's been proven, isn't it? Because Cooper has had more of those and therefore has that points advantage.
That's exactly correct. Now, the other issue is, should we end up in a tie in points, number of wins is the first tiebreaker. So there's that little bit of motivation as well, that if you can just outscore him, and keep in mind, if you win and the other guy's second, you gain 5 points.
Yes. And
you gain tiebreaker. You limit tiebreaker vulnerability, if you will. So there's lots to think about. For Dave Musial, same story. He came into this weekend. He was a distant third in the points. He, too, is just outside of 20 points adrift now of the leaders, again with 65 points to play for, and he's been a rocket ship here. This is fascinating.
His performance this weekend has been extraordinary. I was talking to him at lunchtime, and Dave's son joins us next year. Dave 2.0, Dave Musial 2.0. He said, you must say that. You must say that for me. So, extraordinary what he has delivered this weekend. He's shown promise that, first of the AM drivers. Very, very good performance. Let's go back down to trackside, and here's Shea for us.
With a very special man to give the command today, Mario Bamarito. You were just telling me that you're in charge of the first Ferrari Challenge, so you've heard these cars fire up for a very long time. You know what they sound like when they do, but are you ready to give the command?
Thank you very much. And I say, drivers, start your engine.
Thank you.
Boy, I'll tell you, he's been a serious person that is responsible for just how successful this championship has been.
And indeed, so that's a wonderful shot, Greg.
Isn't it?
This Homestead-Miami Speedway, and there, Benjamin Itez and Cooper McNeil on the front row of the grid. Then it's Martin Burrows and Dave Musial, ahead of Mark Musso and Ziad Gandor. And then the Neil Gahani, John Maygrue cars. Did you note the hint from Shea with regards to the helicopter? And
Yes.
Brenda Holden at the back of the pack.
I loved her, if you're so equipped.
Yes.
Exactly. And we should give a big shout out to the fine folks from Hublot.
Yes.
For their support of the Hublot safety car, which we've been enjoying on these pace laps for the entirety of the season. So as part of the great sponsors that help support this Ferrari Challenge, of course, Pirelli, major among them as well.
Yes, and boy, this track has proven to be a real test for those P0s, hasn't it?
It has. It has. And, the fascinating thing is, this is a track that isn't particularly good on tires. It's got that sand in it. Let's get through the starting lineup.
Cooper McNeil alongside is Benjamin Itez, P1 and P2. Then it's Martin Burrows and Dave Musial, then P3 and P4. Dave Musial, the best of the AM drivers, ahead of Mark Musso. And then it's Ziad Gandor going from P5 and P6, respectively. And then we find the car of Neil Gahani and John Maygrue. They will be going from P7 and P8 of Brenda Holden. So they're the final 3 cars that make up our starting grid for race number 2 here at Homestead-Miami for Ferrari Challenge. Trofeo Pirelli, that mix of Trofeo Pirelli and AM drivers about to do battle for 30 minutes here. The cars are on their formation lap.
It's a little intriguing here. You take a look at the Trofeo Pirelli class, the top 3 are the top 3 in points. You take a look at the AM class, Musial, Gandor, and Gahani, that's 3rd, 2nd, and 1st. It's inverted.
Yes,
and so
spun
it'll be
around.
interesting to see how this plays out here. But the things to watch for are about 3-4 laps in. You might expect to see a little bit of a drop-off in terms of the grip, and that translates into time. And we've seen that throughout this weekend. It's just because the way this track works with that sand I was alluding to, that's part of the paving process that makes it a little bit slip. The tires tend to flat slide, they heat. And then in this heat, it's exaggerated. And as a result, about midway through the race, you might get another drop off. And so if you're going to do something, best to do it early while you've got as much grip as you can. And then when your car's loose a little bit, defend. And because to race late in this just gets a little bit sketchy, but these guys are up to it.
Easier to defend with a loose car than it is attack, frankly, isn't it?
Oh, most definitely. Yep.
Well, the cars go side by side then and form up into their grid formation. Cooper McNeil then, and alongside is Benjamin Hietez. And if Benjamin is going to do anything, he's got to do it right at the start of the race. I think that's what both Greg and I would agree on as they head towards the timing line then, and the flag goes green. Let's go racing. It is Ferrari Challenge Trofeo Pirelli. And Benjamin Hietez then, has he got it? Is he able to stick his nose in front of Cooper McNeil? Well.
Cooper was willing to run it tight to the inside, but Hietez just said, that's fine with me. It opens up the radius, and he just shut the door across the bows. But Cooper, smart move by Cooper. He gave himself margin in case that happened.
Yes. So now Cooper McNeil will chase down Benjamin Hietez, presumably over the opening laps, certainly. And Dave Musial then.
Yeah, it's a great start.
He's
fourth into third.
Yes, put himself up one place by getting by that Martin Burrows car. So Benjamin Hietez now beginning to. I tell you what, Cooper McNeil is.
Oh no!
Oh, this is almost a photocopy and a duplicate of yesterday, isn't it, Greg?
It is. It is. Cooper fighting now, trying to keep Burrows at least behind him. But Musial went through, and Musial, yep, and here comes Muzo, able to just drive by Cooper.
Oh, there's drama.
Oh boy. Cooper moves to the inside.
I don't believe this.
Oh man, here comes Ziad Gandour. He's going to have to be very careful now. He's going to try and get down the inside of Cooper.
Oh, and as I was saying, a photocopy of what went wrong yesterday. He made the start of the race and then seemingly a loss of power, and he's pulling the car off. Look, he's getting out of the way of everybody. This is a disaster for Cooper McNeil, and of course plays right into the hands of Benjamin Hietez.
It does, and I mean, Cooper is just going to be absolutely beside himself at this stage because they won the car. That car they gave him for qualifying was wickedly quick and very effective. And you know, it's not like this is 3, 4, 5 laps in. It happens early. It didn't happen in qualifying. You know, he went out, put in those 2 hard laps, and it didn't show itself then. So that's going to be very interesting exactly what the deal is. But it certainly has turned this race on its head a little bit with Hietez now with the big lead. But Musial, following Hietez from that outside line, now finds himself with Cooper's problem sitting second overall.
Extraordinary.
It is.
And of course the other consideration for Cooper is that car was supposed to be shipped.
Yes. Yes, indeed. Yeah.
Well,
look at Muzo now as he sits up in that 4th spot, sitting 3rd in class. And then that little bit of a gap back to Gandour, who still has Gahani behind him. But for Musial, wow, what a story.
Yeah. So Dave Musial then, you zoom in on that right now. The car number 30, Dave Musial car then, a Ferrari Lake Forest then, did a brilliant job in qualifying, was awesomely quick, blisteringly quick, and that pace is being replicated in the race then, finds himself in that P2 position ahead of Martin Burrows and Mark Musso. And bear in mind, Dave Musial is out of class.
Yes.
In terms of where he sits in this race at the moment. He is the best of the AM drivers, and he's mixing it with the leading pro driver. And Martin Burrows, the other Trofeo Pirelli driver right behind, who's P2 in his class, but actually P3 on the road. So Dave Musial really doing a great job here.
Well, Musial did something that few have been able to do in that qualifying run. Was, you know, he didn't, his 2nd and 3rd laps weren't quick enough. Cooled his tires off, then went out and threw in a lap and found a half second.
Yeah.
When supposedly the tires were going to be suffering a big drop off. So he managed them to perfection. He's going to have his work cut out for him right now, though, since he did put a few more laps maybe on those tires in qualifying. Can he hold up Burrows and Muzo? And then here's Gandour, who's doing everything he can to keep Gahani behind him because, yep, points balance.
Yes. these points battles are actually intensifying this weekend, which is
big time.
If we could write the story, this is how we'd have written it, isn't it? That's for sure. So Neil Kahani, you can see as well, and just behind is John McGrew and Brent Holden. Oh, and that was taking a lot of curb and almost a bit of grass as well for good measure. So the cars made their way through this twisty section of the track, and once again we pick up on the number 30 car, which is P2 in the race, P1 in terms of class, and that's Dave Musial as they put another lap in the book here at the Homestead-Miami Speedway for the Ferrari Challenge North America Trofeo Pirelli race 2 of the weekend. So the margin between Musial and Martin Burrows then, and I think Martin is coming calling now, isn't he?
Well, he does. He closes up in spots, and then Musial, it just looks like Musial, that car gets the power down really well. Okay. And it allows him to gap out a bit. They get into the twisty bits, and Martin is able to close up on him at this stage. But one of the things about this track is there's really 4 different places where you're coming from a relatively tight corner onto a long straight. And if your car plants and goes well, that's going to serve you well, especially later in the race.
So as they head along this straight then, drama unfolding right at the very start of this Trofeo Pirelli race. The race being led by Benjamin Nites then by some 3.4 seconds over this car that you can see here. Dave Musial being chased by Martin Burrows and Mark Musso. And they are ahead of Ziad Gandor and Neil Kahani and John McGrew and Brent Holden.
And he does as well now. Fast lap of the race. And with this heat, it would be very unusual to see somebody put in a faster lap late in the race.
Sure.
With the drop-off, and that's a point. That's a valuable point. I mean, things are going completely wrong for Cooper, other than the point for pole in this one. And then there's this great little scrap right at the back of things here between Holden and McGrew. Holden in that silver car. And if you look closely at that graphics package, it looks like a World War II fighter plane, which seems sort of fitting with Homestead Air Force Base close by here. The 14 chasing McGrew in that white car with the blue stripes. And there's nothing between those cars. You can see it. It's a car length at best at times for this 4th and 5th in the class.
John McGrew then continuing to hold off Holden for the moment. That fighter plane liveried car make an attack on John McGrew ahead. Right at the sharp end of the race, Benjamin Hites has extended his lead to 3.6 seconds as we pick up on the number 24 car of Ziad Gandor. And there is the number 36 Continental Autosports machine of Neil Kahani. So Neil Kahani there in that silver and black liveried car. Something very, very classy about the look of that car. Is elegant, isn't it? Elegant. That's a very good word.
Really is. Yeah. As is the Concourse Club. So I guess that's just good marketing right there. Yeah. But the interesting thing, and this is what makes this championship, I think, so compelling, is you think about Kahani at Indy.
Yeah.
He was one of the stars. Yeah. He had a come from behind drive. He had a lead and survive pressure drive. Then you come to the next track in the championship, and somebody else finds that little bit of pace. In this case, maybe a Ziad Gandor and a Musial, and so now suddenly you're really fighting a little bit. And look at this, Holden. There's that little wiggle by McGrew as he exited up onto from 15 up onto the banking, and almost cost him a little bit. And that's that little bit of grip when it starts to fall off. And we've talked about this all weekend long. All the coaches and all the data people are saying, stay on top of it. You're going to get drop-off. Don't think in this case that little slide was just because you carried too much speed or you got a little too greedy on the throttle. You're losing grip. Make your adjustments on the sway bars. Make your adjustments on the traction control immediately. Don't wait, because you could get caught out.
I think part of the reason that we see different drivers dominate at different circuits is the fact that whoever designs the Ferrari Challenge North America calendar deserves plaudits as well, because each and every track offers its own little nuances, doesn't it? And it wasn't until I arrived here that you explained to me just how difficult this track is to make it work. And there are a number of drivers where this track is most definitely not their favorite.
No, it's very technical, and especially if you don't have a lot of experience on reading racetracks, this one's difficult to figure out. And it's a great layout for being an infield course in a 1.5-mile oval. And they even got a little bit of elevation change. That 3, 4, 5. There's a little drop, and the way you swing around, they say it's like a mini corkscrew. It's got some neat nuance to it, and it also has spots on the track where you just have to be willing to keep it flat-footed, especially into turn 1, and that really presents some challenges. And then that blind entrance into 11, which is tighter than 1, so you can't do it flat. So then you have to read, how much speed do I bleed off? Without being too slow on the exit, and if I don't bleed off enough speed, I'm going to go right off the outside. It's that tightrope.
For the moment, Dave Musial has got the answer to Martin Burrows, hasn't he?
He does.
Wherever Martin has put the car in terms of trying to make a little bit of a move on Dave Musial, Dave has been able to respond, but I have to say that for a number of laps now, I don't think Martin's been close enough to be even think about a challenge, and nor has Mark Musso on Burrows either.
Well, I think Burrows, the pressure he's putting on Musial, Musial's responding, and the two of them now have suddenly found speed relative to Musso, who was right there. And I think the reason is, I think that right now Musial, this is going to be such an exciting learning weekend for him, because he's up playing with the big boys. When they attack him, he responds and he realizes, I've got the pace. I can do this. And he is just driving absolutely brilliantly as we watch Musso working through here. Let's get down to the pits and Shay.
Just checked in with Dave Musial's team, and they said he's been fairly quiet on the radio. He has not been paying attention to the fact that the car behind him is in a different class. He's just out there racing. And Dave and I had a chat with he and his coach at lunch, and he said, yeah, I've got to be good, because Dave 2.0 is going to be coming next year, pushing him even harder.
Yes, I love it. And when we had that shot of the pit wall, right dead center was the team manager of New Country Competizione, which is Eric Bachelard, who for many years had a team in IndyCar racing called Conquest Racing, and then created Conquest Endurance. All they did was win there. That's the type of team owner and program that if you're running Ferrari Challenge, you can get associated with. Are teams that have had nothing but success at every level of the sport. Watching Burrows here. He's finally had enough time to turn that blinker off.
And now he's getting a bit closer.
Oh! See that rotation?
Yes.
Yep, he tried to do a little bit of an over-under move, and as the grip goes away, it gets tougher to do that, because as you try to rotate the car, which you need to do to make that work without the grip in the rear, you get excess rotation, and look at the margin suddenly that Musial has here. It just absolutely nulls any momentum you have.
So the harder you try, sometimes the further you fall.
Yeah. The slipperier it is, the smoother you need to be. And when you're chasing, sometimes that's just counterintuitive. It's like, I got to pick this car up and go a little bit here, and you just can't.
This is our race leader, Benjamin Ites, then for the collection, and leading by a very, very comfortable margin in terms of the race overall, and of course also in terms of Trofeo Pirelli. It's Benjamin Ites P1, Martin Burrows P2, Mark Musso P3 in terms of Trofeo Pirelli. In terms of Pirelli AM, it's Dave Musial P1. He's in P2 in the race overall, ahead of Ziad Gandor, who's P2, P5 overall, and Neil Kahani P3, who's P6 overall. That's just to give you the roundup. Benjamin Ites, you know what? Whenever the opportunity is afforded to him, and actually it sounds like he has to be gifted an opportunity, that's not true.
No.
But when everything goes his way, he is a formidable racer.
Well, and here's the thing. You look at what he did at Indy in this Fiat Bimota concourse and TR3 cars you talked about. I mean, the collection car. Oh, Holden trying the outside move on McGrew.
Oh, and rally crossing.
And McGrew didn't give him a whole lot of room on the exit. I believe we had this discussion yesterday, too, didn't we?
Yeah.
About racing room on the outside. I think it was Holden that tried an outside move then as well. And he gave it a go there, too. Now, look at that. Did you see how he struggled to get turned in? He was off track. His tires picked up all that dirt and debris from that off track run. And when you get on a track, when you're racing a track that's really slippery, it takes you longer to get those tires cleaned off. And here we go. He's up alongside. Actually has the nose ahead coming through here. And then McGrew just tracks him right out to that exit curb. There's no room for Holden. And the one bit of defense I can give to McGrew is he may not have been able to get that front end to stick and turn. Oh, this is Burrows, and that is up on the banking, which generally means you just overran one of the corners here. That's when you get that far. That may well have been the exit of turn 1.
Right. Wow. Well, that was a big off from Martin
Yes,
Burrows.
it was.
Bear in mind, he was P2
Yeah.
in the Pirelli standings in the race. Is there a problem with the car? No, he has got it going now. Reset everything and will rejoin, presumably.
Yeah. He might just be trying to get his heart rate down.
Well, whatever challenge was being taken to Dave Musial has gone away now, hasn't it?
Yeah, and it's interesting. Was that something that unfolded as he was attacking on Musial and overran somewhere, or had he gone, tried to move and Musial defended? It's just interesting what the dynamic was, but it sure gave him a heck of a ride. I think it must actually have been at the exit maybe of 11 and 12 in that area.
Okay.
But what it does, as you've said, is it suddenly puts Musial in a very comfortable position with some ground.
Yeah, he's got probably 3 seconds over Muso, hasn't he?
Yep.
So as they put another lap in the book then, 5.7 is the gap from Benjamin Hites to this man, Dave Musial. And here is Martin Burrows returning on track.
Yep.
Yeah, so
Gathering it up. But he slipped all the way back to 6th overall now.
Yeah.
3rd in class as a result. And that promotes Muso now. Let's see. Oh.
That was a high-speed trip.
Yes. Yeah, and there you can see how aggressive that transition is. But
isn't it?
Yeah, he just carried a huge amount of speed in, and I don't know if he thought, well, I'm just going to dive down underneath him, and then Musial turned in right as he was starting to commit to it, and he had no choice. But it almost looked like he just missed his braking point.
Yes,
but that was immensely quick.
Now
this battle is just now. This time Holden's going, well, I'm going to try the inside here because he didn't give me the outside. And McGrew shut that door firmly.
To give a little bit of defense to John McGrew last time around, I noticed that he caught the curb a bit.
Yeah.
Whether that unsettled the car and meant that he didn't maliciously not give Holden any room, although it certainly looked like that, and it looked like he was squeezing him.
Yeah, you're right. I think it could be a combination. He got the curb, which unsettled the car, and then with the low grip, he just couldn't get the front to stick, and just sort of slid over there. And now there are those who could say, well, he could get off the throttle a little bit too at that point. Yeah. But Holden, I'm sure, is going, all right, well, I just have to figure out another way to get through on it. Brent's certainly capable of that. He's had a pretty stout season.
Yes.
He hasn't run a full season, but when he's been around, he's done some pretty impressive stuff, including a win from pole at the 2nd round at Montreal.
He's right on John McGrew now.
He got a big run,
Yeah, surely his exit was so vastly superior to McGrew, but John holds on to it. And, well, Brendan Holden does mean business here, but he's tried inside, outside, every which way he's tried, has failed. But he's not prepared to give up yet. This is our race leader overall, Benjamin Hites, leading by some 7 seconds over Dave Musial, who, though Dave Musial is in a different class, it's some 10.2 seconds over his next competitor within class, which is Mark Muso. So a very, very impressive display from Benjamin Hites, doing just what he needs to do, isn't he? Not overstressing the car, not overdriving the car. He knows he's got comfort margin, and that's the measure of a very mature drive.
Well, and in the race yesterday, you remember when he was out front and was just throwing down some laps and was just building his gap on the field, and his crew said, you got a big lead, you don't have to go, and he said, I'm in a groove, this is okay.
Yeah.
I'm not pushing too hard, everything's coming well, just let me drive it here. And he did a beautiful job of it. And there you see the margin, 1st to 2nd is Musial in an absolutely breakout weekend here. And then Muso in that blue and yellow car behind this white entry of Musial.
So Dave Musial, as you say, what a weekend he has had as our drone tracks both Musial and Mark Muso. Mark Muso P2 then in Trofeo Pirelli. That number 13 Ferrari of Ontario car through this little sweeping section here, which is turns 3, 4, and 5.
And it's funny, for all our talk about how you have to hustle through 1, hustle through 11, feed it hard throttle through 7. In turns 3, 4, 5, in 8, and in 13, 14, it's all patience.
Yeah, yeah.
You got to slow it down a little earlier than you want to, because otherwise it's not going to turn. And if it doesn't turn, you can't get back to throttle. It's just that clear. One thing we've been noticing is Martin Burrows has dropped off by a lap now after his wild ride. Shay, what's the update?
Hit the curbing and the ABS triggered on, and that was completely unexpected. ABS coming on after you hit the curbing, not the best feeling in the world. So Martin's had to put his head back, and the crew guys have been talking to him saying, hey, you got plenty of time. You're all by yourself. Just go drive as fast as you can.
Wow, that's a wake-up call.
That would be a bit unsettling, wouldn't
Yes, absolutely. And, that's the thing. All of this works off of sensors, and you rattle them up on a curb at some serious pace. It can create glitches in the system. And apparently it glitched right when he didn't want it to.
With a capital glitch, I would suggest.
Exactly.
Okay.
Meanwhile, here's a look at Ziad Gandour, who runs a car that is very similar liveried. And Ziad finds himself right now second in class, fourth overall, but more importantly for him, as you can see, he's been able to open up the margin to the silver entry of Gahani by a bit. There's Gahani.
Yeah.
And again, Gahani leads this class points, Gandour second. And right now, Gandour would pick up 5 points on that margin. It was only 13 coming in. It was 16 when the weekend started.
Yeah.
So Gandour trimmed off 3 yesterday, and now we might have this down to an 8-point margin with the 2 rounds in Italy to go. And so far, if everything ends like it is right now, all but one of the 4 classes, the points battles at the sharp end will have tightened up a bunch.
Yep.
That pesky Issa guy. Coppichelle, he's been able to open it up a little bit, but this is good stuff.
Yeah, certainly. So we pick up then on this car, the number 36 car of Neil Gahani, and the silver and black livery around that turn accelerates away, and with what do we got? Just over 9 minutes of the race remaining. Grip now becomes at a premium.
And did you hear that? It sounded like he actually was in the wrong gear as he was trying to power out of turn 8, and he maybe just didn't get it downshifted quite enough and went for the throttle, and you could hear lugging, and then suddenly it kicked down another gear. And that might be just an issue. He just didn't quite get as many downshifts done as he wanted. It's just interesting to to see that develop.
So he puts another lap in the book then, does Gahani, running in P3 in class. P1 in class is Dave Musial, and still Holden and McGrew are going at it here. Now surely racing room is going to be left now, because otherwise it's a very unforgiving concrete wall. But I tell you what, wherever Holden has put that car, McGrew has had an answer for it.
He has, and I've known Brent for a long time. He's done a lot of World Challenge racing, which I've had the pleasure to announce on and off throughout the years, and he's made appearances. And one thing that he is, perhaps to a fault, is polite.
Right.
And there's been a couple of times here, he could have easily just shut the door a little bit, turning into one there.
Yeah.
He had that half a car in front. We saw Issa do it at the start of the Copa Show. We saw Hites do it here. And you've got that open angle. You just turn across, and you can make that stick. But Brent, did you know, he just lifted, didn't want to have any contact. And, he's a very quick driver, but sometimes I'd like to see him just be that little bit more aggressive. But these are powerful, expensive cars. Look at that. That he did beautifully. That was sweet.
Now surely, after lap of trying, Brent Holden should go ahead now.
Yes.
And he does. Well, he executed that too perfectly.
He did. He got it rotated beautifully in 8, got the power down to the inside, and then at the end he did drift across to make sure that McGrew didn't try anything up and around the outside. So
it probably took him 5 or 6 laps longer than he would have liked to achieve that.
Exactly.
And that might be down to the fact that he's, as you say, he's a very polite man.
A very polite man, and clearly very patient.
Yes.
But in the end, he won that negotiation, didn't he?
Yes. Yes, in the end he did. And you can see he's already opened up a couple of car lengths. And I would have thought that his grip would be more compromised than John's, to be truthful, because he's been pushing so hard and attacking so hard.
That's a good point, but I think he's just been really gentle on his throttle applications, and that's keeping those tires solid. You've seen McGrew's car moving a little bit more
Okay.
as well. Here's Burrows as he is just trying to fight his way back into anything he can get right here. There's no questioning this Canadian's pace. He is quick. Just had that weird moment that sent him for that wild ride and has cost him dearly. But I'm trying to, he is some 13 seconds adrift of the Holden-McGrew battle right now. That's a different class, obviously. He'd still be third in class. But, yeah, it's just, you'd like to get up into it a little bit and race somebody after a big moment like that.
Well, credit to him for getting it back, and of course him taking advantage of the fact that there are some drivers missing from this weekend, and therefore he can still find himself in that P3 position, can't he? Even though, as you say, he's a long way down on the rest of the fight. And as a racing driver, I've spoken to many over the years. You know, they'd all far rather be in fights than they would be sort of out on their own, to be honest. Into racing to, of course, race. And that means being up against somebody else. But you can see he's got completely clear tarmac ahead of him.
And he's going to put his head down here as well. Just while we have a moment here, I was just doing a little bit of rudimentary math here. Cooper started this race with a 20-point lead in the championship, including the point for pole. He will get fourth place points. That's pays 10. Assuming Itez wins, which is 20, that will mean that he will go from 20 to 10 points. Itez has fast lap, so he will have a 9-point lead at the end of this one when he came in with a pretty substantial one.
And that's how everything can change in the space of just a race or two, can't it?
Oh, it's that fierce. Yeah, I mean, he basically this week he came in 29-point lead, and this weekend relative to Itez has cost him 20 points. And that's why we hold the races, because you just never know what happens here. It's getting interesting. Boy, once Holden was able to clear McGrew, he has reeled in Gahani.
Hasn't he just? And this now becomes a battle for the final podium place in terms of amps, doesn't it?
It does, and this is big points implicated. McGrew's there too.
This could be a three-way fight for P3, couldn't it?
Yeah, and this, again, since we're into these final few races of the championship and points are preeminent here, if Gahani loses more spots here with Gondor sitting second right now, this is going to get really costly. And look at this. Here comes Holden, just whistles by us, does McGrew.
Surely Gahani has an issue that he's managing.
Of some sort, yeah.
Because they just, it couldn't have been any easier if it had indicated left, truthfully.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, those cars just went through, so, well, Brent Holden then didn't need to be too aggressive in terms of that overtake, so Neil Gahani drops down a couple of places and falls behind Brent Holden and John McGrew now. This is our race leader, Benjamin Itez, in car number 33 then, as he puts another lap in the book now, and we're into the final 3 minutes or so of this Ferrari Challenge North America Trofeo Pirelli race here at Homestead-Miami, with Benjamin Itez then, if everything stays this way, as Greg has done his rudimentary maths, and it really tightens up that championship chase as we head towards the next two rounds in Ferrari Challenge North America, which are being held in Europe at the Mugello circuit. And, well, Cooper is going to have his work cut out, isn't he? Because Benjamin Itez can now, I mean, to be fair, he needed to keep his championship hopes alive in this weekend, but he needed Cooper to fall over, and I mean, he's been gifted that opportunity, because for two races that has happened, and we didn't expect that.
Exactly. And you know, obviously he's had this opportunity, he has capitalized on it.
Sure.
You have to do that. But I just want to get back to it. You know, this will be his 6th win of the season.
Yeah.
You know, not his 2nd. He wasn't gifted. Just, you know what I mean? The other wins he has earned with some brilliant drives, particularly at Indy. So, you know, that's an important thing to point out. And the other thing, going back to this, the Pirelli Am class, starting this race, Gahani had a 13-point lead on Gondor. If things finish the way they do now, it's down to 6. So, I mean, these championships, there's just some serious swings here this weekend.
Absolutely.
And Musial and Muzo continue to run 2nd and 3rd. Here's a look at Neil, and he just really is looking off pace here. Maybe Shea's got some information.
He's stuck in 4th gear, guys. That's why he can't go any faster.
Right.
He wants to finish the race on the track, but it's going to be a couple of long laps for him.
Oh, thanks, Shane. That explains coming out of 8 when I heard that weird gear
You
change
did.
and it sounded
You
like
did.
wrong gear. That might explain it, that he was trying. At that point, he was struggling with the gear change. So,
Well, it is going to be a couple of long laps for him to
Yes, it
continue
is.
to circulate the track, only in 4th gear. So we pick up on the Mark Musso car here. Mark Musso for Ferrari of Ontario, then the Canadian who is second in class in Trofeo Pirelli. Benitez leading. P2 is Mark Musso. P3, Martin Burrows. And you can see there the car of Ziad Gandor. Ziad Gandor, who's P2 in class. So it's the fight of the P2s at the moment between these two, although it's not an in-class fight, as it were.
no, it's not. But the interesting thing, there's your leader, the Musial, in the AM category. Gondor, it wouldn't be a pass for points in his class, but he has reeled in Musso here in these last few laps, and he was even flashing his lights at him here. And I think he's feeling like, I got a pretty good little race car here late in the going. And should Musial have any kind of an issue, he wants to be as close as he can as the final lap, I believe, is about to begin.
Yes, I think you're right. Benjamin Benitez then crosses the line for one more lap to be completed in this Trofeo Pirelli race. Benjamin Benitez, who's got a massive margin over Dave Musial in terms of time. But of course, he's got a massive points haul, and of course, in terms of win tally, he will overtake Cooper now.
Yes, that.
And if it ever came to a count back,
Yep.
that could be critical.
Look at Gahani just struggling here. He was really, he would have loved it had Itez been able to get around a little quicker and save him one last lap here. But again, I mean, this as a driver in a championship, you have that kind of adversity, something come up, you do what you have to do, and if that means limping around and getting a finish, you're going to do it. Now, he could just stop. He's at the back of the class. He'd get the points anyway. But this is a matter of pride. I'm finishing this race here because I want to earn everything. And, wow, what a big development. And look at Gondor as he's closing it. What a great shot. That's turn 6 and 7. You get to see the angle there. You turn into 6, and then it's like an opening radius, an increasing radius, exit all the way through 7. And this is it. If Gondor's going to try something, he's got this and a couple more corners to go. Get a good run out of 8. Meanwhile, Itez, 16-second margin.
Well, he needed to capitalize, and capitalize he did, as he will head towards the checkered flag to take the win here at Homestead-Miami. Benjamin Itez then, as everything changes in terms of the championship dynamic, he takes the win for the collection. And here comes Mark. Well, that is actually the number 13
Both
car
of them big wiggles as Musial comes through and gets his second straight win. And it looked for the life of me for a minute there like Musso had the back end step out, and that Gondor was going to get the run, and then the back end of Gondor's red Ferrari stepped out big time as well. And they basically came off the corner equally poorly, for lack of a better term, and held position across the line.
It's a fair term.
But again, late in the races, there's just nothing left. These Pirelli P0s are remarkable tires, but in this torturous element here, even they can't stand up to it. And there's Gahani is willing his way to be able to come through here. And there's Holden. After that great battle with McGrew, Brent Holden comes through with a podium finish because of the issues with Gahani, and McGrew ends up 4th. And that's why you fight that late into a race like Holden did with McGrew. As it ended up, he's going to step up on the box at the podium here in just a few minutes. And for Itez, I'm sure as Gondor comes through, and or that actually may have been Burrows comes through, I'm sure right now Itez is just inside his helmet just going, I cannot believe this was sheer good fortune.
Yes.
And he had to, he still had to execute. You can't, go out and throw away the opportunity. But he he got some tremendous luck this weekend that is going to put him into this championship chase. And the only thing obviously they're still concerned with is that at least here, that 0.8 to a second speed deficit. that they have had to Cooper and just the outright one-lap qualifying pace.
How much of that is down to Cooper's knowledge of the track, though?
I think a bit, certainly. He's raced here, you know, I mean, he just never has. Cooper has a couple of times here in Ferrari Challenge. That's going to be a big element to it. And sometimes there are tracks that you're just really good at and your competition just struggles at a little bit.
Sure.
And, you know, flip us back to Indianapolis. Cooper at the end of it said, I just couldn't match Itez's pace. That was just his pace. As we take a look at the results here.
Benjamin Itez taking the win then, ahead of Dave Musial and Mark Musso. Then it was Siad Gandor, Brent Holden, John McGrew, Martin Burrows, Neil Gahani, and of course Cooper McNeil with more dramas today that replicated themselves from yesterday. What was really interesting for me, Greg, was the fact that, you know, the pace he had in qualifying, there didn't look to be a problem, did it?
No, and today that problem cropped up on the opening lap.
Yeah.
And you would have thought, well, then why didn't it show itself? Because he did 2 laps in quali. And it didn't show up, so that's going to have everybody scratching their heads, I'm sure, in that Scuderia Corsa paddock. There's no question of that. And they'll come up with a solution. The issue is, you know, obviously, as you mentioned, they've got to get these cars loaded up and on their way. So they may have to implement the solution on the ground in Italy. And that's always a bit nerve-wracking.
Of course, because you're on the back foot then, aren't
you? Yeah. You're just a little worried, a little uncomfortable. But, well, what an entertaining weekend of races this has been here. So much drama in terms of the points, so much drama in terms of the race. And look at the celebration down there for the Collection TR3 Racing Group, the Romano brothers. Look at them, absolutely elated here. And this young Chilean is going to emerge from this car. They always have his flag waiting for him here. And there it is. Yeah.
Well, you can hear the cheers then. Did a great job, didn't he? You know, yes, he's arguably been very, very fortunate, but you've got to be in a position to maximize that fortune, haven't you?
Absolutely. And let's point out one thing. When he won at Indy, and he got out of that car, he was absolutely jubilant. He's just now had 2 races that he's won that he's thrown right into the deep end of this championship. That's a very muted celebration. That's exhaustion.
Yes.
From this heat. That is what we are talking about here. And Shea is right down there with him.
Just trying to get through the horde of adoring fans as I'll cut in front of Dakota here and get over to Benjamin. Benjamin, 4 in a row, 4 race wins, a perfect weekend for you. How happy are you?
I'm very happy. The objective was there. We had a not great car for quali, but for race, the pace was there. We didn't use the tires, so I'm very happy. I'm thinking about the championship now.
Yeah, now the championship goes to Italy, so you've got to do a bit of sim work, huh, to get ready for that.
Yeah, for sure. I will do a lot of sim work, and I will be 100% to Italy.
Congratulations and good luck over there.
Thank you very much.
I'll tell you, if you like flat-out straight-line speed, Mugello is a track you're going to love here. MotoGP races on it frequently, and that has the longest flat-out straight run of anything in the championship, and it's going to be pretty fascinating. Here's a look at the points right now as they stand in the Trofeo Pirelli AM category, and here's what we're talking about. That point margin, Gahani to Gandour, it was 19 coming in, shrunk to 13 after yesterday, down to 6 now. But with Musial's performance, that's the other big part of this, is he is now just a further 6 points back. So the top 3 are well into this championship right now. And it is going to be fascinating to watch it unfold as we get through the rest of the year. And as we complete the AM Championship, let's get down and hear from our AM winner.
A perfect weekend for Dave Musial, and now I'm afraid you are going to have to book your plane ticket for Italy, good sir, because the championship truly could be yours if you do that race over there.
Definitely. I'm definitely headed to Italy. Change of plans, but one quick thing, I want to wish my son, Kevin, a happy 16th birthday. I'll see you soon.
Happy birthday, Kevin. Maybe brought him something nice. You can bring him a nice trophy from here.
Yeah, I'm going to bring him something home. I want to get home to him. You know, it's his 16th birthday. It's a big one. I miss him.
That was a very entertaining race. You were out there battling with cars in the other class, but running second overall. What was it like when you were looking out ahead and there was pretty much clear track?
It was kind of nerve-wracking still because the track is so greasy. You have to be really careful. At any moment, you can make a mistake. and be off, and then they'll be right on you. So I just ran a conservative race. I didn't try to catch the guy in front of me. I wasn't concerned about being number 1 overall. I was concerned about getting my points, finishing the race, and then heading to Italy.
Well, congratulations on everything you've done today. You warned us a little bit earlier about Dave 2.0, but this weekend belongs to the original.
Thank you. Happy birthday, Kevin.
Yeah, and that's change of plans. I've got to book tickets to Italy now. And the reason is he came in here with a 36-point deficit to the Gahani.
Yes.
It's 16 now. That's what a weekend like that can do. Here are the pro class points, and equally close. Look at that.
213 points, 204 now for Benjamin Ites and Martin Burrows on 128. So the fight is between Cooper McNeil and Benjamin Ites as they head towards Mugello. Well, there you can see how the Drivers' Championship has unfolded with regards to Trofeo Pirelli drivers. Everyone getting ready for the podium celebrations to come.
And these are always fun as well. Let's go back, take a look at some highlights here. And it all started right from the off as Ites used that outside line and just firmly cut across to establish his position. Musial slotted into second. And then we saw the problems for Cooper as he just could not get the power down here. And he started to slip back through the pack just a little bit and eventually had to duck into the pits. And then this battle between McGrew and Holden. Holden went inside, then he went outside, and he thought here, noses ahead, I'm good. There's that moment you said where McGrew caught the curb, and in the low grip, it skated the car over, and suddenly you saw Holden off in the dirt, but Holden was going to be pretty relentless. Musial under attack here, and watch this, right there, nothing. Home for the number 46 of Burrows. And that was that little ABS glitch that they said, and thankfully he had that long amount of runoff. And then finally, Holden, after trying inside at one point, heading up and into turn one, went to the outside, and you thought, nope, and he just backed off. And I think he got a little focused there, missed his turn-in point just a smidge. And meanwhile, Ites comes through, gets, as Shea said, his 4th straight win after the 2 in Indy and the 1 yesterday, and is right smack dab in this championship chase, Dave. And the championships now, well, they head to Europe.
Indeed, and we look forward to seeing them in Europe. From my side, it's been great to be in America, great to be alongside you. And
likewise.
We can't wait for Europe and Mugello for the Finale Mondiale to come.